Hi, I'm Charlie Rasmussen, a cellist from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And I am Anton TenWolde, a cellist from Madison, Wisconsin. We would like to talk to you about a new CD, Six Duos for Two Cellos by Tommaso Giordani, released on Centaur Records. And here it is. Uh, Due to the COVID-19 shutdown, we are not able to perform a CD release concert. So instead, we decided to talk to you a little about the repertoire and our experience performing and recording these pieces.
I first discovered these pieces sight reading them with Anton. But when I moved to Wisconsin, I messaged Anton about meeting to read through some music. While I was searching for pieces to read through, I came across these duos on IMSLP, which is a database of music that's in the public domain. And the edition that was up there was the facsimile edition, so meaning it was one of the first printings of these pieces. Anton and I both read through duo number 3, and we really enjoyed playing this piece, because the parts were written very equally. From there, we decided to start programming the duos.
You know, I did not previously know of these pieces or the Tommaso Giordani, so I initially had no high expectations of them. But we both perform with the Wisconsin Baroque Ensemble, and their mission is to bring lesser known composers and compositions to light. So we decided to start programming a few of these for their concerts. As we started rehearsing and practicing these works, we fell in love with them. The music is just very uplifting. And the duos are also very opera-like. It's like a duet between a tenor and a bass singer. And this is no coincidence, because Tommaso came from a family of singers and opera composers. The cello has this unique ability to switch between the role of tenor and the role of bass. At the same time, it feels like a musical conversation between the two instruments. And composers from that time often thought of their music as a conversation. The French even had an expression for it, conversation galante. And these duos show that interplay. First, one cello holds forth, and then the other replies.
We noticed, after having programmed some of the duos, that we couldn't find any recordings of the full set of pieces. We both thought that these duos deserved to be heard by a broader audience, so we decided to make a recording. Something that factored into our decision to record this repertoire was that Anton and I had both received positive feedback about these pieces specifically at our concerts.
We prepared for the recordings with performances with Wisconsin Baroque Ensemble, plus 2 house concerts. And I have to say that while recording was a lot of fun, the house concerts were my favorite part of the process, because it involved playing in front of a live audience.
Speaking of favorite parts, one of my favorite parts of the process was rehearsing and solidifying our interpretation. For example, I distinctly recall working to figure out the marking battute con la era in the tamburino, which is movement 2 of of the duo number 2. So we started playing it col legno, which is where you're hitting the string with the wood of the bow, and it wasn't working very well in that spot. And I remember doing some research, and I discovered that battute may have referred to a guitar technique, strumming technique, which was where players would use both their fingernails and the other side of their finger as well. So it's a strumming back and forth to play the notes. And Anton agreed to try it, and we both thought right away, aha, it worked so much better than the col legno. So we decided to play it with that strumming technique. So there's also a lot of work behind the scenes and people who helped to make an album a reality. Anton and I would especially like to thank Centaur Records, Rick Probst, the engineer, and Tim Sterner Miller for the program notes. Their work helped to make this album a reality. The process of recording starts with finding the ideal microphone placement to optimize the sound. And again, I mean, this is adjusting the height, how far away. Everything makes a difference as to how the microphones pick up the sound. Once we found this placement, we recorded each movement a few times and also some smaller sections as well. After we finished all the recording, we began editing, which is where we listen to different takes and decide which ones we wanted to use as part of the recording. The final step is mixing and mastering the sound. This step is where you take the core sound of the instrument from the microphone and you process it into what you hear on the tracks on the album.
Well, as you can tell, recording a CD is a lengthy process. We spent 2 days recording and then several days editing and mixing. And throughout, the sound engineer, Rick Probst, was wonderful to work with. He was patient, he was encouraging, and his experience in recording and microphone placement was amazing to me. I was also very impressed with his editing skills, and I remember him saying that editing and recording are like two completely different jobs. This album, I think, shows that there's still a lot of good Baroque and classical music out there that has not been properly heard or recorded. And one of our missions in historical performance is to showcase these works and these composers.
Well, that's our talk for you today. So if you want to hear more, check out the album 6 Duos for 2 Cellos by Tommaso Giordani. Thanks for listening.